I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
Well, this talk is titled The Creative Brain, Igniting Your Inner Genius. And I'm dedicating this song to our friend Max, who is watching on Facebook this morning. Hi, Max! I talked to him a few moments ago, and he was with us for many years. He's actually one of the first people I met when I moved to Maui almost 13 years ago. And we love you, Max, and we're holding you in our thoughts and our prayers today. So, we're going to have some fun. Are you ready to have some fun? You know, people say, oh, Rev, you always make me work so hard when I come here. And I know that's part of my job. And so today, you're going to need a pencil and a 3x5 card. Did anybody who did not get those things? All right, our assistant is running around right now, and she's going to give to you your personal card, because we're about ready to write something on that card that's going to change your life. Yeah, believe it. Get ready, because transformation is in the air. All right, anybody who does not have a card yet? Marlene's the only one that I see does not have, and Marianne over here. Oh, we're keeping a busy day. You too can work off your steps by coming to a Unity Church service. How many people are doing 7,000 steps a day? Anyone? Good for you. Good for you. That's easy, right? All right. Those of you watching on Facebook, you too can get up and walk around your room. Find yourself a pencil and a piece of paper, because you're going to need it. Because we're going to do a 30-second brainstorm. And without thinking or without connecting to source, I want you to write on your card as many things as you can think of ways that you can be creative this week. All right? No questions, no answers, just go right now. 30 seconds. All right, your time is up. Pencil's up. Please let me see your pencil. Hold it up. No one. Don't be cheating on my time. All right. No extra. That's right. We're limiting the creativity. Not. Okay, so have that card close by, because you're going to need it in just a few minutes. Albert Einstein once said, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world. Isn't that amazing? Here's a man who changed the course of science, and he's telling us that creativity is where the magic happens. It's like saying, wow, let's give our inner genius a play day, right? Yes? Are you up for you're going to give your inner genius, that amazing insight, that inspirational place within you, a play day just to go crazy. Well, hopefully not do that, but we're going to open it up to experience creativity today. I think that creativity is a sacred bridge connecting us to the divine. Creativity is a sacred bridge that connects you to the divine. Because when you are in that creative space, you are connected. Of course, we're always connected to the divine, but I believe that when we're in that creative space and we're doing something creative, we are magnifying that connection with Source, with Spirit, with the Creator, whatever you want to call it. So today, my goal is to help you discover that how creativity can bring joy and a sense of fulfillment to your life. Anybody want that? Yes. All right. How creativity can deepen your mindfulness and your spiritual practice. Anybody want that? Yes. How creativity can unlock your genius and create a spark of excitement in your life. So I thought it'd be fun to look at it, and I hadn't thought of this before writing this talk, is how do various spiritual traditions connect to the divine? And let's look at Christianity, right? Christianity embraces the divine through the parables of Jesus, right? I believe that Jesus connected with that divine source when he told the parables that we all are so familiar with. Right? It's like he could have just said, these are the facts, right? These are the facts. God, there's only one God. Be happy, forgive people, and sleep well, and that'd be it. Right? He could have just said it that bluntly, but instead he said, I'm going to tell you about love and forgiveness. I'm going to tell you a story, a parable, right, of the prodigal son. And he told this magnificent story. And what does that story do for you? Do you picture it in your brain, right? So he's just not telling us the facts. He's giving us an illustration of the truth so that it creates a much more sound connection in our brains. Same thing with the Good Samaritan. Same thing with the mustard seed. So his ability to weave wisdom into the parables helps us to connect to the ideas without him just giving us facts. And in the Hindu tradition, Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom and the arts, and music and creativity, she represents the divine flow of inspiration. And she is invoked by artists, by writers, by musicians who seek her blessing. And people pray to her and ask for this inspiration to come through them. In indigenous spirituality, we know that how did they exchange information? By stories, by word of mouth, by the wise ones would talk about this time that this happened, this God that made this thing happen, this horse, this animal, and tell a dramatic story that their people could relate to understand the spiritual principle. In Islam, calligraphy is a divine expression. In Islam, it's looked down upon to create pictures of the gods. So that creativity then went into calligraphy and into writing. And it's through these beautiful images that serve as a conduit for understanding the principles. And in Judaism, the principle of the Kabbalah was used, which is really about co-creating with Spirit, co-creating the universe with God, and realizing that we are one with this creative essence in the universe, right? And aren't we? Isn't this, I believe that this is at the very basis, is is the presence of God wanting to manifest in, through, and as us to create all the amazing things that we can create. And so much of what we talk about and what we do is how can we capture and how can we channel this creative energy to create a loving world and to practice the principles of spirit and so many teachers. You are a channel for divine creativity. Every one of you is a channel for divine creativity. The presence, the source, God, Buddha, light, whatever you want to call it, is desiring to express through you. Have you ever felt it? Two of you. Come now. I know you all have because you've all created. We cannot help but create. We create every moment of every day, right? We create with our thoughts, with our feelings, by capturing them, bringing them forth, speaking, writing, communicating, loving, working. Whatever we're doing, we are creative. You are a creative entity. I am a channel for divine creativity. Say that with me. I am a channel for divine creativity. And we say this affirmation because it's true. And don't you want more of that? Do you want more of that? Yeah, maybe your physical body says, oh, I don't know, maybe not. But I know your spiritual body is saying, come on. You have so much ability. You have so much potential. You have so much love in you. Let's be that. Do that. Say it again. I am a channel for divine creativity. Creativity is a spiritual practice. And part of that is it's not just about the creative process isn't just about creating something. It's about being present in the moment. Have you ever noticed, has anybody ever created anything in here? Right? And if your hand is down, I'm assuming you're not telling the truth, because all of us have. And have you ever been in that place where you're like so present, right? Where you're so connected, and that the whole world is going on, all the clown show in our politics is happening, but you're focused on what you're doing, right? And all of that stuff is important. You're focused right now on that creative presence. And what we're talking about today is how can we get to that place? And then when you're in that creative place, what does it feel like? Feels, oh yeah, feels peaceful, feels joyful, doesn't it? Oh yeah. And when you're in that place of flow, it's almost like your spirit is going, wow, this is amazing, right? Don't you know that this is what you're for? This is why you are here. So think about one thing, one way that you're creative, whether it's playing an instrument or whether it's writing or if it's working in your garden. Just reflect for a second on what that feels like. Just being in that space. Maybe even you're rearranging your furniture. Or maybe you're rearranging the sock drawer. But think about how that feels to be in that space. Imagine you can bring that feeling with you right now. That feeling of connectedness. And like Kealoha said a moment ago, there's peace, right? That's when we're in total peace when we're in the midst of this moment of being creative. I like to think of creativity as a prayer, right? Everything's a prayer, of course. I think everything we think, say, and do is a prayer because it's energy that we are connecting with and putting out. But I think that the most powerful prayers that we can participate in are ones that are conscious, right? When we are putting our mind, our body, our spirit entirely into that prayer, that thought, that affirmation of wholeness, that affirmation of being creative. So take a breath and breathe into that to feel your creativity is a prayer. When you are in that place, you are creating. You are mindfully, you are purposefully creating something. And that's a prayer. Every stroke of the paintbrush, every word that you write, every word that you speak. We are literally painting our world, painting our universe as the slide I showed earlier of the Kabbalah and the Jewish idea. And the one we know is that we are creating the universe. You are creating your universe, your world, with every thought you have and every word you speak and every action you take. Mind, body, expression. You are that creative essence. Take a breath into that. You are a channel for divine creativity. Say the affirmation again. I am a channel for divine creativity. Again, I am a channel for divine creativity. So the second part of this talk today is it's titled The Creative Brain, Igniting Your Inner Genius. So what is the inner genius? I believe it's that divine spark of light, as we sung about earlier, this little light of mine, that is the divine spark within you. It's that unique spark of light expressing as your spirit in this body as you. And it's this spark, this genius is that which wants to be expressed as you, to create, to innovate, to transform the world. And this genius that is you, this creativity that is you, isn't just meant for musicians or artists or visionary. It's present in you, wanting to be expressed. Whether you're a painter or a writer or an engineer or a parent or somebody cooking food or even somebody eating food. Anybody eat food? All right, that's good. Keep it up. So your inner genius is your connection to the limitless possibilities that you have access to. Do you see how powerful you are? It's pretty amazing. Now, we all have that ability, but sometimes that flow can be blocked by fear, by doubt, by perfectionism, by the busyness of modern life. Many of us were told as children that we weren't good at art. Many of us were told that we could not sing, right? Many of us were told we could not spell. Many of us told we could not write. Many of us were told that we weren't good enough. Many of us were told we weren't smart enough. And a lot of us believe that we weren't or aren't creative. You know, I think the key to overcoming these blocks is to shift from judgment to curiosity. Right? Our thoughts are the biggest inhibitor of our possibilities. We have stored, right, because we have a negative bias in just our makeup as human beings, we tend to store the memory that I have of somebody telling me I can't sing, of somebody telling me that I'm not smart enough, right? I have those memories stored. Anybody else have those or similar ones, right? Or that we're not worthy. And when we look at that bank, or as I illustrated up here, these containers, these locked rooms with all that stuff in it, it keeps us from being creative. It keeps us from being productive. It keeps us from being the powerful expressions of spirit in human bodies that we are. And our tools like meditation and affirmation and prayer, stuff that we do every week, are the tools, are the keys to opening these rooms and letting out these false expectations, these untruths. It's a great example of that. Emily's a painter, and she has been talking lately about Sandra Strohschein. She's an artist, and she painted the pictures that you see, and many, many more. She's absolutely amazing. And she had initially no formal training in painting, but she took a workshop, and the moment that she had that brush in her hand, it's like, wow. She was like, I'm home. There's something in this brush for me, right? And she felt the movement of the paint, and she felt this desire to paint, but at the time she was a young woman. She had 3 children. She, in the process of her life, she lived in 17 states in 21 years. And she was swept away from this painting, and it kind of pushed it away. Like as much as I kind of felt this drawing towards it, she pushed it away. Until one of her last son left the house, and she converted his bedroom into a studio. And as she began to paint, she said, I will never say anything negative about my paintings again. Never. Not the ones I've painted, not the ones I've created. She said, she'll say things like, oh, this one's coming out good, or I like this way this one looks. Right? And don't we do this the opposite, right? We get in that place of going, oh, I know when I'm playing the ukulele, sometimes I go, man, this sounds like shit, Right? I shouldn't be doing this. I should put that baby away and do something else, right? And don't we do that with our creativity, with our judgment of ourselves and who we are? It's like it's time to break those locks, let that stuff out, and remember the truth of who we are, that we are divine creators with unlimited possibilities. Her Sandra's saying became, every painting teaches me something. There is no failure, only growth. Right? Imagine if we could say that about ourselves. Instead of saying, boy, I was sure stupid today when I said this to someone, or, oh, that was a stupid thing I did, right? What if we just said, okay, could have done it better. It's something for me to learn, right? We're sort of trapped in this old way of thinking that we have to beat ourselves up for making mistakes. This the old paradigm, sort of, right? This mindset for her changed everything. She painted every single day, refusing to let frustration or doubt come in to what she was doing. However, she faced something else. As she began to paint more, as she began to become an artist, she started selling her stuff. And then she became afraid of selling it. Or people aren't going to like me. Or how am I going to do this? Or how am I going to print enough pictures? And her mind was like, oh, no. Ever get that way? And she just said, stop it. She said, what if I fail? And then she said, but what if I don't? It's the thoughts of failure that keep us from experiencing and expressing the best that we can be. She went on to teach worldwide, to exhibit her work. If you look at her website, it's amazing, the countless pages and pages of artwork that she has up there. She created her own line of brushes that have inspired thousands. She never let doubt stop her from doing what she was called to do. Her journey is proof that when we let go of judgment, when we stop judging ourselves, we embrace the process. And creativity will take us to places that we've never imagined. And she says to her students, let's paint. So my encouragement to you is, let's be creative. Be creative. Her story isn't just about painting. It's about freedom. The freedom to create without fear. The freedom to embrace your creativity as an ever-evolving journey that you're on. So I ask you, what could you create if you didn't judge yourself? Or only judged yourself as good? Only realized that what you're doing is perfect? What could you create? Creativity ignites purpose, right? When we allow ourselves to be creative, we connect with the purpose, right? With the purpose of our soul, right? You are a creative being here to be creative. Creativity cultivates inner peace, right? It's almost like when we create, because we are connected to that divine inspiration that wants to come out of us, we're at peace, right? It's like our soul goes, oh, yeah, now you're doing it. Now you got it. Anybody ever feel Stop! The universe is speaking. It's like, this is the truth. Do you get it? Amen. Let the church say, woo, honk, honk. And creativity is contagious. Creativity is contagious, right? When we are creative, it inspires other people to do the same thing, right? When I go home and play my ukulele, before I know it, Emily's playing the keyboard, right? And it's like, wow, one thing leads to another because we're inspired by each other. So you might ask, how can I engage my creative spiritual self? And I've got 7 things to suggest. And the first one is to start each day with a creative intention. I know the first thing I did this morning when I got up, I was sitting on the side of the bed, and I said, okay, what am I going to do creative today? And what came to me was to be totally present to this talk and let the creativity move through me. So what about for you? What can you do that's creative today? What can be your creative intention today? And then the second thing we can do is to contemplate the creative nature of everyday tasks. I know last night I was fixing dinner, and I'm thinking, this is a creative task, right? I can see it as a burden, right? I can see it as something that I have to do. But what if I say, this is going to be fun? Man, I was cutting up that zucchini and going, whoa, this is cutting those mushrooms and pouring that sauce, and I'm like, wow, this is fun, right? It's fun to be creative. So how can you make something creative that's an everyday task? Kind of like when we're kids, learn how to tie our shoes. Remember that? It was like, wow, it was kind of difficult, right? Now we can do it in a second if we have shoes that tie. Most of us that wear sandals or flip-flops don't wear tight shoes very often. But it's like, remember, look at it like childlike, right? And to approach everything as if you were a child from the child's place. What's the saying? Have a child's mind, or Jesus said something about let the little children come to me, and I think he was talking about the same thing, about having that new perspective, right? Seeing your life, what you're doing through the mind's eye of a child. And the next thing to do is to dance to your favorite music. Remember the old days when we used to put music on and dance all around the room? I was like the best air guitar player around, right? Anybody else ever play air guitar in here? I know some of you have, right? And drums, and right. Well, do that again, right? Engage your partner if you might be embarrassed by them catching you. Challenge them to play air guitar and dance to music. Wow, right? As we talked about last week, movement expands our minds, right? Creates new brain cells. And then the next thing is to watch or read something that inspires you. I know sometimes when I'm not in the mood to write or to play the ukulele, I'll look at something on YouTube. I've got some ukulele players that I like, and I'll watch them, or I'll watch a lesson, or there's a couple amazing coaches on YouTube that talk about writing, how to create characters, how to develop a plot, right? And just watching that stuff is like, wow, it engages me, right, in wanting to do something that inspires me. And we can always... Anybody have like books of Rumi or Hafiz or spiritual books hanging around? Daily Word maybe. And pull something out when you need inspiration, Rely on the tools that you have. And I think it's really important to do something with your hands, right? Move your hands, because when we're moving our hands, we're using all those connections in our brains to create something, cook something, play an instrument, do something, play pickup sticks for God's sakes, but do something with your hands. And the next thing is, at the end of the day, when you're doing your gratitude practice, which I know all of you do, can contemplate how creativity showed up for you today. What did you do that was creative? Just think about that and put that out and make that part of what you're grateful for. You know, I'm grateful that I spoke about creativity today. I'm grateful that I played the ukulele today. I'm grateful that I cooked something today, right? And just be grateful for these things, right? Because we are creating new habits. We're opening our minds. We're developing ourselves so that we can live long and prosper and have an active mind. As I said last week, the science shows that people who exercise their body and their minds keep their sanity 1 or 2 years longer, right? And if you haven't signed the sanity clause, there's one right here to borrow from the Marx Brothers. Okay. Okay, then, and lastly, and really, so much a part of what this talk is about today is to let go of judgment. Just let it go. Just be in the moment. And I think that even means don't judge things as good or bad. Just be with them, right? Because as soon as we judge something good, we're saying something else is not, right? So get out of the judgment. Just be present to what is. What are you? Okay, now say it all together on 3, and I want you to say it like I believe it. 1, 2, 3. I a channel for divine creativity. All right, I want to end with one last story today. One of the greatest creativity comebacks that I know, Walt Disney. Did you know that Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lack of imagination? Right? Imagine that. The man who brought us Mickey Mouse, the Lion King, and the fireworks over Cinderella's castle, at one time wasn't creative enough. Wow. But he didn't. Did he pack up his easel and call it quits? No, he kept at it. He kept connecting with that creative flow that wanted to move and be through him. And look at all of the pleasure that he's created for millions and millions of people. Now, you may not be planning to build a literal magic kingdom, but if you do, let me know, because I want to come. But what if you turned your life into one? What if every day you had the opportunity to create something magical? Whether it's a poem or a song or a beautiful meal or a new way to solve a problem. Your life is your theme park. So now take out the list of things that you wrote down before. And is there 1 or 2 that you are willing to say, I'm going to do this week? Right? I'm going to work on one of the 2 books that I've been writing. What about you? What are you going to do? Dance, yes. All right. Eleanor, make a note of that. Mike's going to dance this week. What are you going to do? I'm going to sing. You're going to sing. Yes, Ariel. What are you going to do? Okay. A house or a picture? Oh, Jason's going to paint a picture. Good for you. What else? Going to write. John's going to write. Write what? A song? Write what? Good. A book? Song story. Excellent. What are you going to do? Write your play. Yes. Who else? Emily's going to dance. Woo! I know where your dance partner is. Yes.
I'm going to talk to somebody that has been very hard for me to talk to.
Oh, talk to somebody that's been hard to talk to. Wow, that's a major creativity accomplishment.
I feel like I'm going to be really centered and calm.
Nice. Yeah, thank you. Your creativity is your superpower. Use it. Play with it. Share it. Have fun with it. Go forth and make some magic. I invite you to close your eyes. Breathing in. Capturing all of this creative essence that is the truth of who you are, who we are. Breathe into this creative energy that's moving in and through all of us right now. Just imagine that the creative energy in the universe and source is alive and active in this room. That it's circling around you, circling as you, moving, spreading, loving, divine ideas, magic, joy, power, peace, expression. Take a big breath and imagine that you are breathing that in, just what is right and perfect for you. Breathe it in. Imagine that right now, all the cells in your mind, your body, and your spirit are activated with the energy of creativity, touching every cell, every space, every tissue, every thought, every feeling. And right now, your brain is alive with creativity, with perfection, with expression, with creative energy, with light. And let's just hold that thought for a moment. Breathing in and breathing out. Letting your creative spirit, your beingness, your body, your mind, your spirit being present to this moment right now. As we bring our awareness back to this moment, to right here, right now. And so it is. Namaste. Okay, why don't we stand up and we'll bid ourselves adieu. But before we do that, we're going to pray together the prayer for protection. And then after that, we'll join in a circle and our band will lead us in singing the peace song. So for ourselves, for this ministry, for all life, let's affirm and pray together the prayer for protection, which begins, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. God bless you. Thank you for being here today.
Where I live, there are rain.